well, I just want to wrap it up. So,
yeah.
any last minute statements from anybody who's on the panel? This is your chance. Please be brief. We've got a lot of people here who need a bathroom break. So Elliot, go ahead and then make everybody on the panel. If you have a last minute statement, please make those statements. Elliot, go first, please.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone again, everyone who put this together, everyone who was on the conference. You guys are all incredible for actually being with charity and trying to help everyone on every side pursue their own destiny. One more thing I wanted to say that a few of the speakers mentioned. People in California, so the people who are left-wing, the progressives, maybe 60% or 99% of them want a totally gun-free republic, and that's fine. A lot of them just don't quite understand. They want their republic, which currently is the whole U.S., to be gun-free. If it were California, it could happen. They can't make the U.S. gun-free. They might think, oh, it'll be like California. They don't realize it. Just take the average state like Wisconsin. Take the average state like Wyoming, the smallest state in the country by population. There are millions and millions and millions of AR-15s like I have right here and another one downstairs. David Wankley showed us his AK. Laser has, we all have a bunch of ARs. There are hundreds of millions, probably tens of millions of ARs, tens of millions of AKs, and tons of other stuff, and some full auto guns. Even if 99% gave up their guns, if they become legal, that 1%, which is a few million people, will fight to the death. And even with the military, even untrained people, some are veterans, like a lot of us are veterans, but even a few untrained people with ARs, it would be really, really bad. People don't quite understand, there are hundreds of millions of armed civilians. Even if 1 or 2 or 3% fought back, it would be impossible to disarm America. So, if you want a totally disarmed, totally gun-free republic, California is the way to do it. CALEXIT can make it happen. That's what you need to tell your people.
That's exactly it. And we are telling them that, exactly. I mean, you're free to see what you want on guns and everything. That's your prerogative. It's our prerogative to see that we don't really want guns except maybe a handgun to protect yourself at home, but we don't need AK-47s to protect ourselves. But that's your prerogative.
A lot of Californians don't realize it's really impossible to disarm America. Yeah. A lot of them they're in LA, they're in Frisco. They don't understand America is really, really big. Just go through a few states and visit Michael, visit us, and we'll show you around our states like New Hampshire, Wyoming, Texas, Carolina, Dakota, Indiana. There are hundreds of millions. There's massive geography, but also a lot of armed people, and some of them just wouldn't give them up. So a disarmed America on gun control, like Beto says, it's not reasonable. It would be like getting rid of all whites or blacks in the whole world. It's too difficult to do. It wouldn't happen.
That's exactly why this conference is so great. Is because we're gonna show this to California. We're gonna show that this is the views. This is the view, and we're trying to get everybody on board to say, look, we have opposite views. That's fine. By separating, they can, this side can do what it wants. We can do what it wants. Nobody's pissed. Nobody's mad because Californians are not going. We want gun control and affecting the rest of the nation that doesn't want that. And the same thing with us. We don't want people bringing in AK-47 in California or whatever. So that's exactly what we're agreeing to disagree on this stuff. And this is great that you're saying that because we can show Californians and hopefully you guys can show our side of it on the conservative side. And that's where we come together and we can build a bigger coalition. But I want to thank you so much for being on this call and taking your Sunday.
I'd like to say something about that same thing Elliot just mentioned. In the United States, 430 million hunters are registered. 430 million. Go ahead and try and take away people's guns. In the state of Oregon, Kate Brown is going to probably executive pen the bill to illegalize all semi-autos, and anyone who does not give up their gun is Class B felony. Yay! Mm-hmm. So that is so unconstitutional. It's not even possible.
Great.
Crazy.
And do you have any other thoughts, Claire, on any other issue you wanted to close with?
I don't like paying my state taxes because they go to everything but what I believe in.
Great. Next speaker, yes, go on.
I'll add a very quick note on the same firearms issue they both addressed. I think it's very important that if you're pitching this to Californians, you have to pitch it as the only way they can get it. by being a separate nation. So I was driving through Montana just a few weeks ago. I was in Glacier National Park. Glacier National Park extends up into Canada, and they call it whatever. It's a little piece of park. Now, when I hike out in the mountains this way, I always hike with firearms because if you don't, you're crazy. There are bears, there are coyotes, there are wolves, there are cougars. If you're gonna go 10 miles up a small trail into the woods somewhere in Montana, you don't have both bear spray and a firearm, you're simply a stupid person. So I was hiking and I had handguns in my car, and they turned me around at the Canadian border. Because even though I was within the confines of the park, it's a handgun. Canada has absolutely, you cannot own a handgun. And I literally got turned around at the border. I drove through and made a U-turn and made it 12 feet into Canada because of that. Now, you can't do that in the United States. If I want to drive across whatever highway I pick and drive to California, if I have the desire to illegally bring firearms into California, you can't stop that. It's simply impossible. So if California really wants that, literally the only way that they can do this is to be their own independent, completely sovereign nation, have customs, and have border crossings, where then they can legislate, hey, if you want to come into our country, I can search your car. And if you guys want that as your own country, that's fine. For the United States, you currently can't because I have the Fourth Amendment that says, no, you can't search.
And again, we have a great example of that, the recent shooting, that the guns came from out of state of California and brought into California. So you're right, we cannot stop that unless we have control of our borders and we can make sure that guns don't come in here. But the last shooting was one of those examples that I think it came, the weapon came from Nevada or somewhere else. So I agree on that point that we can't stop it right now unless we become independent.
And it happens with everything. I live in Wyoming. Everybody here wants their weed. They drive down the I-25, they go to Colorado, they walk into any store, they buy all the weed they want, they drive right back up. Wyoming's like, you can't have weed. Great, enforce it. In New York City, people drive to Pennsylvania to get their cigarettes because a pack of cigarettes costs $3 instead of $50. They bring it back to New York, and then a guy gets, choked out on a sidewalk because he's selling individual cigarettes. The city couldn't claim their $10 in taxes off. It happens with everything. Unless you're a sovereign nation and then you get to decide how you control your borders, not a thing. So if that's the California pitch, if it's really what Californians want and pitching this to Californians, I think it's important to make clear that they can't have what they want the same way nobody else can have what we want.
Great, thank you.
Great point.
Anybody else want to pitch in on the panel? You're all good?
I'll end
militia guy.
participation by just mentioning that I appreciated Red State Secession's talking about mass shootings or more of them, because school is in session and the CIA, deep state, whatever you want to call it, is prepping. I appreciate Mr. Weichel talking about militia. It's good to see that a candidate for the U.S. Senate. One of the things I was going to do if I got elected in Congress was introduce a militia restoration act to give the state militias or to revitalize state militia. And appreciated Mr. Martin talking about the Articles of Confederation, because that's what the globalists of 1787 did. They threw out state sovereignty and got us this supreme law of the land, which we can see what has happened as a result of that. Finally, this isn't 1776 anymore. This isn't long guns and cannons versus long guns and cannons. We've got a militarized police state, courtesy of the federal government, which we were trying to get away from. And jets, drones, and bioweapons versus assault rifles and unorganized militias is not a level playing field. So let's be smart, folks, and I look forward to working with y'all for, God willing, a peaceful divorce.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Words? No? Here? Anybody?
Just thank everybody.
We want to thank the panel. We want to thank you guys for spending your Sunday. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us, and this is great. I think this is